Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Today, in service to our duty to the Constitution and to our country, the House Committee on the Judiciary is introducing 2 articles of impeachment charging the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, with committing high crimes and misdemeanors. The framers of the Constitution prescribed a clear remedy for presidents who so violate their oath of office. That is the power of impeachment.
It's a disgrace that people can make impeachment out of nothing.
Here's the thing. So for those of you who've been like, you were under a rock and somebody's like, oh my God, there's a person under a rock. And you lift it up and you're like, first of all, how long have you been there? And like, I've been here for like 3 years. All right. So Donald Trump's president, but hold on, it gets crazier. They're impeaching him. Yeah. There's 2 articles of impeachment. 2. So 2. And this is how it works, right? There's 2 articles. So when they indict somebody, usually there's plenty of stuff to indict people on. And this is what it's all about. So the indictment is going to be, they think, these things.
The first article is for abuse of power. President Trump engaged in unprecedented, categorical, and indiscriminate defiance of the impeachment inquiry. This gives rise to the second article of impeachment for obstruction of Congress. Here, too, we see a familiar pattern in President Trump's misconduct. A president who declares himself above accountability, above the American people, and above Congress's power of impeachment.
So there's 2 articles. All right? So there's 2 articles. Now what they'll do is they're going to have more hearings tomorrow and then may vote on new articles. But the reality is they're probably going to go with this. Here's the issue. First of all, you put Congress in there, and I don't think anybody cares that they did anything to you guys because right or left, pretty much everybody's kind of over you. Secondly, and this is the perfect example of what the right can stand up there and say, see, it's never ending. Al Green, who we have fun with all the time from Texas, Houston, came out today and said, essentially, even if he is acquitted and he's reelected, we're going to impeach him again. We're going to keep doing it until we get rid of him. At that point in time, you just stand back and say, there you go. That's all you need to know. Right? That's it. Now, there are some Democrats who are uncomfortable with this. The speed at which it's going, they feel uncomfortable with this. They were thinking censure. And you're having a battle because you got progressives who want more. This isn't enough. Throw everything at him, right? Throw every single thing at him. Even things that he did before, just anything you could find, throw at him. And there's some out there who are like, well, hold on a second. I'm in a district that happens to be very red, even though I'm on the blue side. And I'm worried that if I vote for this, they're going to make me pay, which means they're going to lose another seat, which means you could lose everything. But I don't think they have a choice at this moment in time. They got to go forward, period.
The evidence is every bit as strong that President Trump has obstructed Congress fully, without precedent, and without basis in law. If allowed to stand, it would decimate Congress's ability to conduct oversight of this president or any other in the future, leaving this president and those who follow to be free to be as corrupt, malfeasant, or incompetent as they would like, with no prospect of discovery or accountability.
Malfeasant. It's a pretty good word right there. I love when you listen to, like, first of all, like Nancy, right? Swaggy P, I call her, Nancy Pelosi. She sauntered up there, and she was just like, it's with the solemnness of this, and a long, hard look in the mirror. And, she goes through the whole thing about how this is a horrible day for America, and then nobody's happy about this. And then you see behind there's like Adam Schiff, and he's like drooling in the excitement, and there's a confetti coming down, there's a balloon. I think there was hand puppets and clowns and marching. Look, this is what politics has become, tribal and ugly. And now there's another battle going on with Trump and Mitch McConnell. Because Mitch kind of wants to get this done, he wants to get it done. He wants to put a 10-day limit on it. We're going to get it. We're going to get it done. And Trump doesn't want that. Trump wants the show. Trump wants the whole thing. See, here's the thing that I think that people don't quite get with Trump. Trump doesn't care about your base, Mitch McConnell. He cares about his base. He feels he's sent here to do something. He's the voice of the people. He's going to go do all of his things. And he doesn't care about that. He doesn't care if you're reelected. He doesn't care if some of those people in there. He cares about the show. He wants the show. He wants to bring everybody up there, and he wants the show. He wants to put them all on blast and just gaslight them and do everything he possibly can. And he wants it all. And Mitch is like, we're doing this the political way. And the battle right now isn't between Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell. The battle's between Mitch McConnell and the White House, because what he wants is the show. He wants Hunter. He wants Biden. He wants the whistleblower. He wants Adam Schiff. He wants them all at that table being cross-examined. He wants them all at this table answering questions. He doesn't care if it embarrasses some other Republicans. He doesn't even care if it embarrasses him. At this point in time, he don't care. He likes the show. And one thing's for sure. Trump's that boxer. And so if you ever watch boxing, and I like the sweet science, boxing is one of the things where there's guys who are fighters and there's guys who are boxers, right? Like Floyd Mayweather is a boxer. He's measured. He looks for you. He goes around. He wants to make sure what your weakness is. He's going to outpoint you. He's going to do these things that are very much everything that if you could teach it in a book, this is how you box. That's that guy. Mike Tyson was a fighter. Mike Tyson is searching for you. He's hunting for you, and he wants to turn it into a street fight. That's Donald Trump. Trump wants to turn it into a street fight, and he wants to do it in front of the world. And Mitch is having trouble with that because Mitch wants to do this in the way that Mitch wants to do it, which is we're going to do it quick. We're going to do it efficiently. We're going to get in. We're going to get out. We're going to get these charges over and done with, and we're going to get on with our lives. And that's not what the Trumpster wants. No, 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 no. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Love hearing from all of you. Well, all of this is going on today in Jersey. Other things were happening.
The gunfire lasted hours, and it left a total of 6 people dead, including 2 shooters. They killed a 15-year Jersey City police detective. Joe Seals was the department's leading officer in removing guns from the street. He's survived by a wife and 5 kids. 2 other officers were shot and wounded. They've been released from the hospital. The suspects had high-powered rifles. At one point, they stole a U-Haul van, and police found what they thought might be an incendiary device inside. Once the shooting stopped, 3 people inside the store where the shooters had taken refuge were found dead.
Yeah, and it was a horrific scene, and it looked like a war zone, people running for their lives. You had kids. It was just an ugly, ugly situation, and why? You know, that's the question that people are going to be asking, you know, and again, a fluid situation. It was 2 people. It was 3 people. Somebody still on the loose. It was long guns. Was it rifles? Was it what kind of high-powered rifles were they? And it was it just, why? You know, that's the other thing. Is this a situation where it was terrorism? Was it somebody tried to rob somebody? I mean, it was a male and it was a female. So there's that. And it's just an ugly, ugly situation. And once, we don't know all of the stories, but it was it erupted just outside of a kosher supermarket on MLK Drive. And they said long guns, and they went inside, and anybody who approached, they didn't care. Boom, they went at it. And then the firing lasted and lasted and lasted. So 2 juveniles, by the way, 1 male, 1 female, were shot and killed in the standoff. 3 other people inside. And a 3rd suspect who people say may or may not be out there. Again, fluid, you're trying to figure it all out. Apparently is a black male wearing an all-black outfit. And they think it's a he, may still be at large. Crazy. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Again, just a crazy situation. Boom, out it went. Like that. And I saw some of the pictures, and people are like running, and you see the cops, and they're loaded for bear, and it was nuts. It was really nuts. And it's in this day and age, too, we get to see everything because people get stuck in certain situations. And what's the thing they do now? They just take out their phones and blast it to the world. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Love hearing from every single one of you. With all of that going on, then yesterday you had the whole thing with the Department of Justice, and now there's a battle there that is Bill Barr going against what's going on with his own, Department of Justice and all of this stuff, and Trump screaming, look, we have totally showed everybody what went down and what they did to us. The other side saying, look, there was nothing in here that was dubious, and both sides are claiming victory. But it just shows you the politics of it all, because both sides have a little bit of truth and a little bit of baloney or stuff that they leave out. Everybody likes to leave out the bad, right? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Blink! Home security. Never been easier, man. Blink is amazing. Right. So this, these make great gifts, right? Maybe your kids moved away, or your mom or yourself or whatever it is. These are amazing cameras. They really are incredible. The Blink XT2 cameras are awesome. And again, they make great gifts. But on top of that, you may say, hey, you know what? I want to get one of these now. I'll have them here in the next couple of days. Next thing you know, I'll have the thing set up by Friday, and away we can go. And I can protect any of the gifts that come and all of that, because these XT2 cameras are motion activated. So you place them anywhere. You set them up easy. There's no wires or any of that stuff. And a couple AA batteries last you up to 2 years. And then what happens? You download the smartphone app. So you get the smartphone app, you download the thing, and away you go. What happens? It alerts you, right? You get a little thing on your thing, and you get a little video, and there's a two-way talk feature. So if somebody's delivering something, you can say, hey, could you deliver that next door? Could you put that around the back? Plus, it makes sure that, your house is being looked at. And maybe your kids come home and you're like, I got to keep an eye on my kids. You'll know when they're there, and you could talk at them. Don't let those people in. It's amazing. And right now, until December 24th, you're going to save up 25%. But on top of that, while supplies last, you get a free Amazon Echo. Boom. No contracts, no subscription. Absolutely amazing. Save big and get your free Amazon Echo while supplies last. Go to blinkprotect.com/sale. 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 Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show, the only place so far that the Mueller investigation hasn't deep probed for collusion.
Redacted! Redacted!
Stay tuned.
This is Chad Benson.
Las Vegas, we need to talk, and I'm just being honest here. When something pops up in the New York Times about Las Vegas, and it's talking about the fact that you have pigeons wearing cowboy hats, there's something going on here. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there are pigeons wearing little red cowboy hats. Yeah, the video's been viewed and shared a bunch. It's 12 seconds long. And I don't think they put them on there themselves. So how they got them on there? I mean, do you think the pigeons are walking around going, do you think I look good in this? Hey, Frank's thinking about doing... Did you see Frank? Yeah, he's wearing a cowboy hat. What does he think he is, a cowboy? You're a pigeon, Frank! He's like, I'm standing out. That's all I'm saying. You guys are a bird of flock. You guys are all flocking together. People are like, something different about that pigeon. I like you. So what they're saying, the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association, which has a huge, by the way, the Wrangler big events in town and the whole 9 yards. It's like the biggest thing that goes on there. Just insane. They say they got nothing to do with this, right? They got nothing to do with this. Zero. Now animal welfare agencies are getting involved. They're going to rescue the bird. Maybe the bird doesn't want to be rescued. Like, what if you pick the bird up and you take off his hat and he kind of looks at you like, what? And I think it's a he. Could be a female. I don't know. And they kind of look at you and say, what are you doing, man? I'm liking my hat. Like, are you not digging what I'm doing right now? What's that movie that's coming out? The new one with Will Smith where he's a spy because he turns into a pigeon. Maybe that's it. Maybe this is the reality of it all. But we can do better, okay? When he shows up with shaps, then I'm going to really laugh. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. So what would you pay for a computer What's your limit, producer Phil? Because you're not a Mac guy. I mean, I've had Macs but what's your limit on what you'd spend on a computer?
I probably won't spend over $1,000.
Yeah. Well, Mac's new Super Mac Pro, 52,000 USAAmerica.com dollars. Massive. 52,748, and that $400 if you want wheels. I'm like, for $400, yeah, is it a car? No, you're not getting a car. This is what you get. So, now it can be upgraded with options, including 1.5 terabytes of RAM. That alone is going to cost you 25 G's. Powerful processor is $7,000. Afterburner accelerator card at $2,000, and then some other stuff to trick it out. Wheels. What are you going to do with wheels? Tammy just texted me from Vegas. Isn't our pigeon awesome? Is it one pigeon? Is there several pigeons? Maybe the pigeon wants the Mac. Pigeon's like, they're going to give me a MacBook Pro. It's going to be pretty awesome. Maybe just a Mac. Pretty awesome pigeon, though. $52,000, though. And I was, okay, so are you pro gamer at that point in time? Right? Because my uncle, who does all kinds of stuff in the gaming world, he builds games, and we do all kinds, and we have a company, and we do stuff. He just got a new computer. I think it cost like $7,000. And that was like, but it was a computer. It wasn't a Mac. Remember Mac. Sometimes I feel like you're paying for the name. But $52,000 seems like, I could see if you were like top end movie trailer gaming, even a gaming. I don't know. That just seems like a lot. Maybe I'm wrong. By the way, just to let you know, guys, that does not include software, and there's no screen. That's just maxed out on the hardware. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. By the way, with all of the craziness going on today and the impeachment and, we're going on and on and on, they did get something done today. We'll touch on that. You text the program. The word of the year. Yes, another word of the year. Give you a hint. Pronoun. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
President Trump declared victory on the trade deal with Canada and Mexico just moments before House Speaker Nancy Pelosi came out to announce in a press conference that Democrats were on board with a modified NAFTA. The president writing on Twitter, quote, "Great USMCA trade bill is looking good." Administration officials tell ABC the president's top trade rep, Robert Lighthizer, and his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, traveled to Mexico today in anticipation of the potential finalization of the trade agreement, a top priority for President Trump.
Yeah, so here's the thing. They wanted to show everybody, look, we can walk and chew gum at the same time. Look at all the cool things we did. We got this thing done today. It's not just about this. And Trump even threw something out there about this being essentially done right afterwards of the whole impeachment thing.
The impeachment is the reason they approved it. And interestingly, 1 hour after the news conference, they went out and did a news conference on the big trade deal, the great trade deal, one of the greatest trade deals ever made for our country.
Ever made. Like the great, like you look up great. I was just looking at great and I was like, wow, that's a great, there's some great trades out there. Like when the Cowboys traded Herschel Walker to the Minnesota Vikings for 700 first round picks for the next 25 years. That was a great trade deal, right? Right. This is one of the greatest right here. But it's funny because Nancy had to say this. She had to put a little spin on it.
In terms of our work here, it is infinitely better than what was initially proposed by the administration.
Yeah, totally better. Here's the thing. And this is what drives me crazy. It's like everybody's claiming credit, right? Like we're going to claim credit. We're going to claim, this is what we're going to claim. This is a win for our team. It's a win for, you know who's a win for? It's a win for America. Right? There's a saying in sports, play for the name in the front of your shirt than rather than the name on the back. Right? In soccer, right? So you'll have your badge. So if you play for Manchester United, that's that badge that's right there, whatever team that you play for. The name on the back doesn't matter. Right? Play for, and that's us, right? You work for us. I don't care who gets the credit, right? But everybody needs to feel like they've got a victory. In the end, the victories should be ours. The victories should be ours. But they all have to feel like, well, it was us, right? It was us. It was us. It was all us. It's not them. No. It's not them. This is just us. And the Democrats said, even NBC said, they sought to highlight their contributions to the deal, such as removing, carve-outs for pharmaceutical companies, and they did some good things, right? But I just love the fact that it's always about us. And Reagan had that great line, is we can get so much done if nobody cares who gets the credit. Well, in this day, in this age, it is singularly about who gets the credit. Period. AFL-CIO came out and they supported the new trade deal. They said for the first time there truly will be enforceable labor standards, including process that allows for inspections of factories and facilities that are not living up to their obligations. Right? As far as there's some good stuff in here for the pharmaceutical and drugs and pricing, as well as some environmental stuff and a few other things. Is it a perfect deal? Nothing's perfect. Again, because too many people are trying to make sure they get their name on certain things. But the reality is, it's a step in the right direction. But it's all about, it's so funny when you listen to them talk about it today. It's hard to find anything out about what's really in this thing, because too many people are out there talking about what it is that they did and why it was so good that they ended up doing it and not the other side. No, today this should be a victory for us. I don't care about the name on your back. That's what we should have them do from now on. We should have them have names on their back like jerseys. One team has a red uniform, the other team has a blue uniform, right? In the Premier League in England, they have Liverpool and Everton are the two big teams, and there, right? And it's crazy when they play each other because their stadiums are like feet apart. Like we're talking, it's insane. And same thing in Manchester and United Manchester City. And both teams are red and blue. So there's the red half, the blue half. So let's make them wear red and blue. They can put their names on their back. And every time they do something good, we'll do like in college football where you get like a Buckeye on your helmet. We'll just give you a little sticker. We'll give you a little sticker right there. Oh, it's a sticker for you. You did something good. Here's a sticker. And the people will say, wow, look how many stickers that person's got. They must be doing good stuff. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. It's not very nice, Chad. I'm just saying. It's kind of insane, right? Like I was always, oh, look at all the stuff we did. Look at all the great stuff we did. Look at all this. How about let's just celebrate you guys did something good with trade. Let's talk it out, right? And let's talk about everything, not just singularly all the great things you did and how everybody else is bad on the other side. And the other side comes out and says all the great things they did. And everybody else is bad. Let's just find out what's good. Let's find out what's in it. You guys have passed it. How about letting the people know?
Father and daughter Jeff and Liliani Hopkins were in their tour boat when the volcano erupted, and they turned that boat around to begin the rescue.
We just started to treat people, the best we could, but everybody was horrifically burnt.
We had 23 on the boat that we had, and 5 of those are now deceased.
Rescue helicopters combing the island, lifting some of the injured back to shore for treatment. But so far, first responders have not been able to return.
No. And it is scary when you still see it. And then there's the question about what the hell were some of these people doing on this volcano? right? It's called White Island, and it's an excursion. So when you take a cruise, you do excursions. They offer you the opportunity. Like, the only excursion I've ever done is I was in Alaska, and they were taking people out fishing. I'm like, I'll go do that. Otherwise, I just kind of chill, It's like I got off in a few ports, but a lot of times I just chill on the boat because nobody else is there. Everybody takes off. And but I was on a boat where there was an incident where they fly to the glaciers and they land on the glaciers, and there was an incident. The plane crashed, and some people didn't return. And I'm like, some of these things, you don't know who these operators are. So, but people are asking the question, first and foremost, wasn't there an issue last month where people were saying, we're going to up the threat level, if you will?
One of the key questions being asked is why were people allowed on the island after the alert level had been raised earlier in the month because of increased volcanic activity? And one paramedic who flew to the island described what he saw as being like a scene out of the Chernobyl miniseries. Ash covering every inch of the ground. It was a horrific scene in a place that for decades has been a worldwide attraction.
Yeah. So 1 to 5 is how they rate it. And this was between a 1 and a 2, and less than a month ago, they had raised that level from a 0 to between a 1 and a 2. That means there was some activity going on, and this was just a burp. This was not something massive, but you saw what it did, and it's crazy. It is. It's insane what it did. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. We have the word of the year again.
Merriam-Webster announced its word of the year, and it's going to surprise some people because it's a pronoun, the pronoun they. Now, this is a word that can be used to refer to one person whose gender identity is non-binary, so he, she, they. It became such a popular term this year with searches up 313% that the august dictionary, Merriam-Webster, decided that they had no choice but to add it to the definition of they. And I think it's really interesting because it goes to show how social and political conversation and change find their way into our language.
Yeah, which is scary. And I'll tell you that's a little scary because it is. And when you want to change certain things, right? And you go and you look at, see how in the past, in political world, how they take issues, and some of the issues is they'll change language, what the meaning of the language is, to try to fit certain things. If we can't get people to think about certain things in a different way or get them on our sides, what we'll do is we'll change the language itself. And this isn't so much for our generation, right? The Gen Xers and the baby boomers, even though they're being, like everybody's got to get in line now, right? Like groupthink, got to get in line. But it's for a younger generation. And it's the word they. And this is what CBS is kind of like, well, hold on a second.
It does, but I have to confess, I'm still trying to navigate it. Somebody said they to me the other day, and I thought they were talking about a group of people.
Yeah.
And they were talking about one person, so I'm still trying to get on board.
Yeah, if you were raised with certain grammar lessons.
Exactly.
Exactly. I was going to say,
easily.
Yeah. Get every 8th grade English teacher on board with this. We'll be okay.
I'm still working on it.
If you were raised with certain grammar lectures, were you raised in a certain grammar way where they was more than one? But, well, sorry. Now it's changed. We've changed the rules because we want to make sure everybody feels that they've got something, because that's what it's all about. There it is. What happened to Z? Isn't Z the same thing as they? I can't keep up anymore. I thought Z. Isn't it supposed to be Z? Like, hey, Z. That just sounds silly, too. No, it's just, why can't you just be you? Like, hey, just find out what their name is. Steve, Jennifer, Z, whatever your name is. Because everybody needs a label, and then we want you to not look at labels and talk about labels, but we want to know that you have one. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, your Twitter. Love these towels. So MyPillow, about a month ago, they sent me a bunch of towels. I said, hey, we got some towels. I'm like, ooh, cool, I like towels. They said, we're going to send you. What color you want? I said, we got a bunch. We got 5 different designer choices. All right. So I was like, I love all their stuff, right? You guys hear me talk about all the stuff, and I do. And I'm like, all right, we'll see how their towels are. These things are amazing. They're incredible. They're just so soft. They just suck up all the water, and they look and feel amazing. So you get extra just soft and big 30 by 56. You get bath towels. Those are the bath towels. You get 16 by 30 hand towels, and they got washcloths as well. Made in the USA, 100% cotton. And what I like about it is the cotton's the best, right? And it's no fillers or cheap softeners. So when you wash them, they don't come apart. It's quite the opposite, right? Because you ever buy a towel and you wash it the first time, you're like, well, this thing sucks. Not going to happen here. You have a 60-day money-back guarantee. Big savings right now. Maybe you're saying to yourself, you know what? These will make great gifts. Yeah, they will. They make amazing gifts and gifts for yourself as well. Check them out for yourself and save big. This is how you do it. You go to MyPillow.com. This new radio listener special. Click right there. You can get 30% off amazing towels, incredible towels. Use my promo code Benson. It's MyPillow.com, promo code Benson, or call 800-983-4975. Chad Benson Show.
Check out our Chad Benson Show Facebook page where you can hang out or hang your grievances out to dry. This is Chad Benson.
The film about the 1996 Olympic bombing in Atlanta depicts real-life Atlanta Journal-Constitution newspaper reporter Kathy Scruggs as trading sex for scoops.
I report the facts.
The AJC says the depiction is offensive. Scruggs did no such thing and wants Warner Brothers to run a disclaimer before the movie. Warner Brothers says there's already a disclaimer at the end of the movie, and the film is based on highly credible source material, something director Clint Eastwood backed up during a recent AP interview.
And they all seem to corroborate the fact that she was somewhat on the wild side.
Scruggs died in 2001. The film is in theaters this weekend.
Yeah, and Richard Jewell, who the movie's about, right? This is the funny thing. Everybody's talking about her and all this stuff. Remember what the movie is about. Richard Jewell, right? And what took place with Richard Jewell, who was tried in the media and found guilty, and many of you have no idea. You're like, who? So 96, Atlanta. He finds a bomb. He alerts people, saves some lives, but one person, I think, loses their life. Another person dies because of a heart attack, not directly because of that. And a lot of people are injured, and he becomes the prime suspect. And he's this bumbling buffoon is what they think. He's a wannabe hero. He's Paul Blart before Paul Blart. And boom, they go after him, and they destroy him in the media, only to find out it wasn't. This guy named Eric Rudolph, who was bombing abortion clinics and killing abortion doctors and all kinds of stuff. And he went hiding in the mountains, and they caught him, but not before this guy was destroyed. And the Atlanta Journal-Constitution and several other media outlets had to pay him big money, and because they knew they had made a mistake.
The Atlantic Journal probably would be the one group that would be sort of complexed about the whole situation, because they're the ones who printed the first thing of there being a crime caused by Richard Jewell.
Yeah, they did. They destroyed him, and he died not too long ago. So. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to see. I want to see how this plays out, because I'm sure the media, in particular, critics are going to say this movie's awful. But I heard that it's actually pretty damn good. It's another, great movie from Clint Eastwood. I don't think he does crap, and I don't think he cared. I think he just looked at this and said, this was one of the first people that we had that were really tried by the media in such a way, because we had just really gotten into the world of 24-hour news and all of this stuff, and he was just, man, he was the worst. And then he gets a lawyer on his team who's basically the kind of guy that looks everybody in the eye and says, 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. You can tweet at me. You can text the program. It's Christmas time, and if you're going to do something, do it right.
A $10 million bonus will be paid to all its 198 employees, as the Baltimore area real estate firm St. John Properties. This for achieving the goal of developing 20 million square feet of office, retail, and warehouse space in 8 states. Company chief and founder Edward St. John says he wanted to give a reward that would make a significant impact on employees' lives. That's about a $50,000 payment per worker. The bonus is in addition to the company's annual year-end bonus and other benefits.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, we were talking about it today. So let's say you go into your party or whatever you're going to go do. So everybody's got their party usually, although, they're back now because of the whole Me Too thing. Everybody's like, no, but now they're kind of back. And let's say you go to your holiday get together, your function, whatever it is, and you get a envelope and they say don't look at it till the end. And then you open it up and it's, they doubled your salary. They gave you $50,000. That's a life changer for a lot of people. Imagine if you got $50,000 tonight. For most people, you're like, whoa, that changes everything in your life. Even $10,000. Pretty nice. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Again, it's happening. Yes, very much so. Impeachment. The articles have been drafted. How popular is it?
If you need any more evidence of how unpopular impeachment is, watch the 2 press conferences today.
Okay. I was like gonna, but then I was like, not really gonna. I'll catch the highlights. They should have highlights of the highlights. That's the world we should live in now. Cliff notes of the Cliff Notes. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Today, in service to our duty to the Constitution and to our country, the House Committee on the Judiciary is introducing 2 articles of impeachment charging the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, with committing high crimes and misdemeanors. The framers of the Constitution prescribed a clear remedy for presidents who so violate their oath of office. That is the power of impeachment.
There it is. And like that, it's on again. In the worst kept secret in the history of secrets of the worst kept secrets, it's on. So what does it mean? Well, they're going to break it down for you top to bottom, right? So what happens is you come up with articles you could present as many articles as you want. And the worry for a lot of people is they were going to go wide and shallow rather than the narrow and deep. They decided to do narrow and deep.
The first article is for abuse of power. President Trump engaged in unprecedented, categorical, and indiscriminate defiance of the impeachment inquiry. This gives rise to the second article of impeachment for obstruction of Congress. Here, too, we see a familiar pattern in President Trump's misconduct. A president who declares himself above accountability, above the American people, and above Congress's power of impeachment.
Yeah, so what's going to happen now is, so they present the articles. So they got 2 articles, and now they're going to have opening statements, and they'll debate it tomorrow starting at 7 p.m., 24 hours from right now. Opening statements will start coming from the Judiciary Committee, and they start going around and battling this thing. And then what ends up happening from here is they'll eventually have a vote of yay or nay. Now, how does this go? Let's break it down. First, there are some Democrats who, and it's right now looking between about 8 and 12 that are worried that if they vote for this, that they're going to pay the price at the ballot box because they're Democrats in districts that Trump won. And there's a few, more than a few in the Senate that also have some fears. So they were like, why can't we just censure him? And they're like, nope, we're doing this. Then you've got Trump. Remember what Trump's about. Trump's about Trump. I think we all know that. But Trump's always about the show. And the biggest battle going on right now that we know where this is headed, is between Mitch McConnell and the White House. See, Mitch wants to get this done quick, right? He wants to let's get it done. I'm going to put a 10-day limit on it, probably. And we're just going to go from there. We're going to call the people. We're going to get this done. We know where it's going. At the end of the day, he's going to be acquitted. We're all going to move on with our lives. And then we can focus on other things that need to be focused on. And by the way, with the USMCA today getting out of the House, Mitch says we're not touching that thing until we get impeachment done. So even though they're celebrating the USMCA passing, he's not going to move on it until impeachment's done. He wants a quick trial. So it goes from the House to the Senate. The Senate is the jury. So you have 100 jurors, right? And then you've got the judge. And it's Dredd. They got Judge Dredd. It's pretty awesome. I don't know how they did it. They got it's Chief Justice Roberts. Would that be cool if it's Judge Dredd? I think it'd be kind of cool. For those of you who don't know, it's kind of geeking out right there. But so Judge Roberts will be the judge. He's not the one. He's presiding over it. He's not delivering any kind of sentence or any of these things. He's just the one. The jurors will deliver the acquittal or the conviction. And that's the way it goes from there. Right? But Trump doesn't want what Mitch McConnell wants. Trump wants the show. Trump wants it loud. Trump wants to drag all kinds of people out there because Trump knows he's going to be acquitted. Trump doesn't care what it looks like at this point in time. He's figured, you know what? They've been firing stuff at me, so why don't I fire some stuff back? And I'm looking at you, Mitch, and everybody else saying, you guys better have my back. You better get in there and do it. You better get in there and fight and embarrass and turn this into a show. I want you to call, Biden's kid Hunter. I want you to call Biden. I want you to call everybody in the world that you could think of. I want you to bring Adam Schiff in here and anybody else. And I want you to put him out there and I want you to make him answer questions and make him sweat it out. And I want you to do it. I want the show, right? We could even have ring girls. I mean, whatever you guys are looking for. That's not what Mitch wants. Mitch wants the exact opposite. Mitch wants the exact opposite. Mitch wants as low key as possible. Let's get it done and just move on with our life. I think Trump said, you know what? You guys are dragging me through this, so we're going to do this. Right? And some of that may be true. Let's be real. I mean, Al Green, our buddy who we talk about on more than a few occasions here, we have fun with him from Houston, the Democrat he's been screaming impeachment since like the beginning. He's the one who's brought up articles of impeachment. He's already said, don't care if he gets acquitted. We'll impeach him again, and we'll impeach him again, and we'll continue to do it until he's gone. And that's the politics of it all and the frustration that people on the right look at and say, see, you've got somebody already saying they're going to be working on getting him out and trying to find another way to do it, and you're not even done with this one. I get it. Frustration on both sides, but here we are. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Shootout today in New Jersey.
The exchange of bullets dragged out for nearly 2 hours, from sporadic pops to a barrage. Automatic gunfire mixed in with the boom of heavy weapons. A police officer was fatally wounded. Both gunmen were killed, and 3 others were found dead inside the deli where the shooters had holed up. Area residents alternating between ducking for cover to leaning out with their phones to chronicle the shootout. Al Jones, ABC News, Jersey City, New Jersey.
Yeah, and it was insane. What took place happened right in front of a deli, not a deli, but a kosher deli, and they went inside. Juveniles. Now, again, it's a fluid situation because supposedly there's supposed to be a third person, but maybe not a third person. But it was crazy, and people reporting there's some people with long guns, and this is what's happening, and it was a battle. And now the question comes. Why?
The investigation is going to continue for a long time. We have no inkling what the motive was yet.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows why. Nobody knows what ended up happening, but it did, and it happened quick, and it was crazy, and again, juveniles, the shooters. That's what they're saying. Was it terror? Were they trying to steal something? Were they making a statement? Was it Bonnie and Clyde? Nobody knows yet. And they're probably not going to know for a couple days. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. Do like hearing from you. This is interesting. The Patriots are in trouble, right? The Patriots, I'm going to tell you guys this. And if you listen to the show, you know I'm a Patriots fan. But they're in serious trouble.
Patriots have an in-house feature that they do on an employee on a constant basis. In this particular case, they were doing a feature on an advanced scout at the Bengals-Browns game yesterday. The feature is called Do Your Job, and this advanced scout was credentialed by the Browns, as was the film crew by the Browns, and they were filming this advanced scout for this feature when a Bengals employee saw the Patriots filming something, alerted the NFL. The NFL confiscated the video, and the NFL now has the video. Now, the Patriots are adamant that they weren't doing anything with the sidelines, that this was nothing more than a feature on the advanced scout. Of course, look, the league's got the video, and the league will make the determination. But the Patriots insist that they weren't doing anything wrong or anything illegal here.
Yeah, of course. Oh, we didn't do anything. We did nothing wrong. We never crossed the line. We didn't mean to do something. You've been in trouble before with this. And they said, well, this is an outside crew that they hire and contract with to do these things. And they turned the stuff over right away to the NFL. It is an ugly look again for the Patriots. And as much as I'm a fan, and I do believe that Bill Belichick is the greatest coach in the history of maybe of American sports, and the teams admit they inappropriately filmed 8 minutes of the sideline of the Bengals. Well, of all the team, too, right? Like, this is the Bengals. They're awful. They're not just they're record-breakingly awful. Like, that's how bad they are. They're bad. They've won one game, and they were lucky to do that. But I said it. As much as I love them, the NFL has to send a message. This happened with the Jets already before. You're good. You know, you've already taken a first-round pick away from him a few years ago. It's got to go bigger than this. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's suspended for a year. Would not be surprised if he's suspended for a year. If it's as bad as, you know, some people are already talking about. And that's huge. But, look, as much as I love them, I got to call it out for what it is and how it looks. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. AMAC, Association Mature American Citizens, fastest growing over 50 organization in the country, fighting for you and your values, fighting for things like common sense immigration reform, fighting for things like making sure that Medicare and Social Security are solvent, and that the leaders are doing the right things in our country for you so it doesn't impact your life economically in a bad way. On top of that, they offer great benefits to all their members, retail, restaurant, hotel discounts, great discounts on just you name it, like from movies to amusement parks. They've got these discounts, and they're incredible. And they're giving you the opportunity to join for free. It's 1 year free. It's on me. All you have to do is go to amac.us/Chad. That's amac.us/Chad. Or call 888-355-1617. That's 888-355-1617. It's 1 year. It's free. It's on me. amac.us/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Being antisocial sucks. Hang with Chad's friends on Facebook, The Chad Benson Show. And if you just need some alone time, head on over to Twitter at Chad Benson Show. Either way, we can't wait to meet the real you.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? Is there even an old internet? Well, this is the new internet. Oh, okay, cool. Fantastic. Let's find out what's trending. Look around the trending things that are going on. Let's first and foremost start with the magical world of Twitter. And again, Twitter is more political based and craziness. Jersey City's obviously trending. The shooting today. Multiple people are dead. Still no motives. Apparently 2 juveniles were involved in the shootout with the police. Horrific scenes. Donate to Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang is now the 7th person that is qualified for next week's debate. Yes, there's a debate next week. Just what you wanted, right? Just in time for Hanukkah and for Christmas. That debate. Ugh, goodness me. Are you kidding me? Yeah, I know. The Mac Pro. So Apple's rolled out its most expensive Mac Pro, $52,000. It's another $400 if you want wheels. And by the way, all of this comes without any software or hardware. Just to let you guys know. So what? Yeah, it's crazy. $52,000 is a little steep for me in my because I'm pretty good on a computer, but I wouldn't know what it was. $52,000 worth of computers. Like computers would be different. Head on over to Google. Marie Fredriksson has passed away. She was 61. She was the lead singer of Roxette. And, of course, she gave us some awesome tunes. And you can go back and hearken to the days gone by of her dominance. And I think they had more than a few big hits in the late 80s and early 90s. All around, all around. Touch me now. Touch me now. I close my eyes and dream away. You guys are singing this now. You're like, oh, Chad, I saw. It must have been love. Oh, yeah. But it's over now. She died today of cancer. She'd been battling cancer since 2002. Several hits. She's Got the Look, Listen to Your Heart, and, of course, this one. So that is trending. On top of that, you got some other craziness trending. Jim Montgomery was fired today. He was the coach of the Dallas Stars. And guess what? Last week, there was a coach fired because of stuff that had happened in the past and things that he had said. This seems to be a situation where it has nothing to do with on-ice performance and all to do with bullying and the way that he treated some players. And they're not saying because it's not – because what's happening now, and there's a big issue in hockey of the way that some of these coaches have acted in the past, and it has nothing to do with today and all to do with, in some cases – many moons ago. And so they did an internal investigation and decided that he had to go. And so he's gone. Out. Man, that's I was trying to, because I was reading about it today and I was like, God, I played for some coaches that were they were awful, right? Like both here in America growing up, and a couple I played with in Europe and trained with and stuff. I played with some good ones, but I played with a few where, man, I tell you what, they'd make you not want to play the game. And there was this old saying that a great player once said, like about being a professional. He says, I never once got paid to play, but I sure in the hell got paid to practice. And there is. I don't know how. I could never coach that way. And in today's world, you just can't do it, right? And that includes kids, but also pros, right? It's hard when, you guys making $30 million a year, $20 million a year, yelling at him. Look, he's going to be around. You're not. You'll be out before he is. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. It's Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Nothing on that phone call is wrong. That was a case that has already been opened. The Attorney General was already looking into it.
It's not about the phone call. It's not about the phone call. It's about everything that led up to it. Right? It's about all of the people behind the scenes supposedly putting pressure on another country to come with the goods that politically could help the president on a personal level in order to get a meeting, dollar bills, yo. In saying that, they didn't get a meeting, but they got dollar bills, and that's really what it's about, right? It is. People are like, oh, is a meeting really a big deal? You know what? Yes, it is, and I'll tell you why. Because having a meeting with the President of the United States, right, is like Oprah putting your book on her book club. It's having that sticker. It's that kind of thing. It's vitally important for especially new leaders to have that opportunity. So yeah, that's an important thing. But not everybody gets it, right? Not everybody does. But we're here now, and the articles have been drawn up, and now it's a situation where we'll pay attention to it, until the vote, like a smattering here and there, and they'll argue and they'll debate it all day and they'll talk about stuff.
The president's misconduct is as simple and as terrible as this. President Trump solicited a foreign nation, Ukraine, to publicly announce investigations into his opponent and a baseless conspiracy theory promoted by Russia to help his re-election campaign. President Trump abused the power of his office by conditioning 2 official acts to get Ukraine to help his re-election: the release of hundreds of millions of dollars in military aid that nation desperately needed, and a White House meeting with an ally trying to fend off Russian aggression.
Yeah. And that's very real. Like, if this was a situation where we weren't really giving that much money and they weren't in a situation where they were, trying to hold off Russia, who's once again spreading their, tentacles in Crimea and all this stuff, would we be in a different position? I don't know at this point in time, right? I don't know, because of I can't see past the politics anymore with this. So it is what it is. So they'll debate it, they'll talk about it, they'll all come up, and they'll give their little speeches on the floor, probably later this week or early next week, and then they'll take a full floor vote, and then we'll officially say he's been impeached, and then it's up to Mitch McConnell, because the ball jumps out of this court and lands in his court, and the difference between this court and that court is the person who controls that court, if you will, has an R by his name, comparatively this one, where everybody over here has a D by their name. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. It is Christmas time, and with the world of art and wackiness and craziness and religion, sometimes you just sit back and go, all right, what are you guys trying to do here?
A nativity scene like this is making a very bold statement.
That it is. The family of Jesus, Mary and Joseph, separated and caged.
I can totally see it's being controversial.
I knew about that before I was assigned to come here and was excited about it.
She's the new pastor at Claremont United Methodist Church, where they're known for their topical, non-traditional nativity scenes with a provocative message.
What would happen today if the Holy Family showed up at our borders seeking asylum?
Okay, so they're going to make it political. So you've got everybody's in a cage, right? They got barbed wire, and they're like in a dog run cage, and everybody's in there. And there you go. So we're going to make a statement, and because we're making a statement. That's what we're all about. It's like that person with the damn banana, right? Guy tapes a banana on a wall, sells for $120,000, and then some other guy comes. You see that? He eats the banana, and the right Epstein did kill himself, and now he could be in trouble. But it's always about art, and this is part art, part religion. What does that say about us? By not allowing, that's where we're going with this.
Now, among those drawn here by social media posts, separating Jesus, Mary, and Joseph is certainly getting the desired reaction.
It really makes me think. In a way, it puts a mirror in front of us right now, and so that bothers me.
So this is making a very clear and bold statement.
People are separated and arrested.
Yeah, we saw some family like this. Yeah.
Did you? Remember this? Remember when immigration was huge? Right? Remember that? Like, is this because everybody was in cages and only Trump had ever done that? And he built all those facilities, even though find out that's not true. But yes, the truth is the automatic, you come here, we separate you, that was true, right? But then that went away, and then here we are. Not saying there's not trouble, but still not being addressed, right? Like we're so busy addressing all of the other things. But now the question is this about that, what goes on at the border, or is there more to it?
But what about separation of church and state? Is this crossing a line? Reverend Rustine doesn't see it as a political statement, yet many who posted on her Facebook page disagree. One wrote, inappropriate, an incredibly false analogy. Using the nativity scene for political agendas is wrong. Ridiculous.
Yeah, because this is the opposite. Unlike the state doing something where a church, and then everybody's like, oh, it's separation of church and state. This is the exact opposite. This is a church making a political statement. The church I go to, he's like, it's great. I love it. Sun Valley's an amazing church. And Chad, who does his thing, he'll say, look, you know what? I just don't talk about politics, right? We just don't do it. Cause people here all have different beliefs, right? And we have people that are from different, walks of faith who've come there and, it's just not what he does. And I get it. Right? Like, because the minute you open your mouth in certain situations, right? It's just like we talked about with Oprah. Like, Oprah wants to run for president. And that's what people say. It all sounds great till you realize that half the country, even though they may have loved you yesterday, the minute you put yourself into a situation where you decide to take a stand on something or to say, I'm going to do this and this is how I'm going to run. I'm going to run with a D or an R by my name. Then what happens? The other side says, well, I don't like you anymore. Right? And there are probably people that go to this church who are going to be like, I don't know if I want to be involved in this anymore, right? Like, I didn't come here to be lectured at, and I get that you're trying to make some sort of point, but it's to me, sometimes you just leave it, right? It's the old adage, right? Michael Jordan, even what? Even Republicans buy shoes. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Love hearing from every single one of you. Check out the Instagram and go to thechadshow.com as well. Just think, this time, in a little over a week, we'll be having yet again another debate, and they're battling it out amongst themselves on how much money did you make? Why aren't you releasing your tax returns? Who's giving you that money? Blah, 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 blah.
I'm glad to see what the mayor has done. But it's going to be critical in the fight against Donald Trump that we have a candidate who can most aggressively make the comparison between Trump's administration and how Trump has raised money.
Yeah, and the raising money is becoming very interesting. So here's what's going on. So Elizabeth Warren and Buttigieg are at it right now. And I think part of the reason is because Elizabeth's losing traction because I think a lot of people are kind of stepping back from the Medicare for all, and they're taking a look at it, and they're starting to see the numbers, and they're not feeling like she's given everything. And they're asking her questions, too, about you made a lot of money. You actually consulted a company that was doing some sketchy things when it comes to the environment, and you were so, and then he's coming after her, or she's coming after him for, you're not transparent enough. We want to see what kind of money. She's talking about tax returns, but she's like, I'll release tax returns, but only till this date. So, because they all want to hide. Oh, yeah, maybe I do make a little bit more money than I thought. And I'm not just like you money wise. And this is where we are. This is the battle that you're going to get now, because now as they start to thin themselves out and you start to see, okay, the herd's getting smaller, the stronger are surviving. So much like Trump did from jump, they have to take each other out, because you don't get to run for president. You run to be the nominee of your party. Then you get to run to be president. And I think a lot of people are looking around, and she did not do good in the lead. Right? She struggled a bit in the lead. When her spotlight came on, I think at best she was very average, where the last debate, he was the guy in the lead, and I think a lot of them, they kind of stayed away from him. So that's very interesting. And then I heard that even if Tulsi Gabbard says even if she qualifies, she's not going to go, it looks like. And she's just going to go out and talk to the people. And I think for her, she's got to think outside the box. Because the one thing they can kind of all agree on in the Democratic Party is that nobody seems to like Tulsi Gabbard. Because she met with Trump, right? She met with Assad. She's more a libertarian than a Democrat, I think, at this point in time. And so I think that her thought is, well, I'll just go to the people, and we'll see how that goes. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter.
One day after Cardi B was revealed as the cover girl for the Vogue Values issue, the rapper is due in criminal court in Queens, where she's charged with felony assault. The hearing is about suppressing social media messages Cardi B allegedly sent to her co-defendants about a plan to attack a woman thought to be having an affair with husband Offset. Cardi B was in Ghana and Nigeria for 2 weekend concerts. The judge required her to attend the hearing. There may be a date set for trial.
Oh, Cardi! What are you doing? Can't be doing that to people. I love the names. Offset. I think your rapper name, Phil, should be Typo. I love it. Love it. Producer Anthony, I've got to come up with him. Got to come up with something for him. Everybody they're running out. Like the guy that died, what's his name? Juicy World? I don't even know. How white do I sound right there? What's his name? Juicy World? Was it Juice World? I don't even. Somebody's going to tweet at me. Don't be mad at me. I'm not hip with today. Post Malone's about where I go. But Lil Medium, I like that one. What's up, Lil Medium? Schmedium. What's up, Schmedium? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. All right. Christmas time. It's Christmas time. And you want to hear the best audio sound around. And you're looking around and you're going, hey, they got a great deal over here on these earbuds, or check out these headphones, and blah, 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 blah. Put those down, save yourself huge money, and get the best sound around, and that is Raycon. Raycon's just released their E25's best model yet, 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and nice comfort, noise isolating fit. So whether you're out running around, or maybe just making a phone call, you're going to know this difference. And again, the quality is amazing, and the price is right. The price is absolutely amazing. Comparatively to what you'd pay for a lot of these other ones. No stems, no wires. And Ray J's put this together in a way that you are absolutely going to love. The comfort, the style, it's discreet, and the sound qualities. Mwah! Get yours now. Save big, especially for this holiday season. You're going to save yourself 15% off right now. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad. 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 Chad Benson Show.
Set Chad straight. Text the show, 323-538-2423. That's 323-538-CHAD. Someone has to do it. Might as well be you. The Chad Benson Show.
Florida man is facing charges.
Florida man swings across a pool of alligators.
The Florida man is facing serious charges for igniting a homemade pipe bomb that flew into his neighbor's yard.
Florida man. Can't get enough of Florida man. You know who you are out there. So, they got the best Florida man headlines of the year. You know who you are, Florida man. I know you're listening. How about this? Florida man versus the food chain. Yeah, that one's good. Florida man accused of giving beer to an alligator. And then the alligator did what? Bit him. Why? Because he was pouring beer into the alligator's mouth, and luckily his friend happened to be filming it. Young alligator beaten, given cigarette on video, Florida man arrested. Yes. So you can't make this stuff up. I love Florida. God, I love, but I tell you what, there's something there, right? Right? Florida, right? I'm in AZ, and I tell everybody all the time, we're becoming the Florida of the West, and if you go to Europe, it's Corolla coined it best. Germany is the Florida of Europe. It's true. Young alligator beating cigarettes. So this is what the guy did. The guy was on probation for grand theft, for stealing cars, and then he filmed himself doing horrible things to an alligator. Because that's what you do. When you do stupid things, the best thing for you to do is to film it. Florida woman uses machete to save venomous coral snake from cat. So stupid. Florida man fed a kinkajou. The next morning, the super aggressive exotic creature attacked him. Florida man pleads guilty to killing a sawfish by removing his extended nose with the power saw. How about this? When Florida man fought the law and the law won. Florida man who repeatedly bought an $8 million island, right? So he told everybody this, was arrested at Kmart for theft. Florida woman embezzles $60,000 from her new job while on probation for embezzling from her old job. Yeah, this is the stuff that you get. Florida man called the sheriff's office to report stolen marijuana. The deputy responds, stop calling. You can't fix stupid. You think you can. You're like, well, you can, right? Like, you can't. You can't do it. There are so many of these. It's just, you go through them and you're like, what is going on there? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Maybe they should do the impeachment in Florida, like take it on the road, like the NFL does the draft. They could just totally take it on the road. Like, that would be awesome. Like, the first week of the trial could be in, like, hey, we're going to take it to Phoenix. And then the next week, it can be in, like, Cedar Rapids. And then the following week, it could be in Nashville. And then when they do the big vote, it could be, like, depending on where it goes. It could be in Dallas, right, if it's going to go Trump's way. Or they could take it to New York City, right? That would be crazy. It would be. But we did find out articles of impeachment have been drawn up.
I don't care if you think Americans who support President Trump are deplorables, but you do not have the right to disqualify their vote just because you do not like President Trump.
Yeah. Kevin McCarthy not happy. On the other side, they're very happy, but not all are happy. But the reality is they started down this path. They knew there was no way they could go other than to draw up articles of impeachment, debate it, vote up and down, then eventually get it off to the Senate and let them decide, and then say, we did everything we could. They decided that they have no scruples or morals, and that's on you guys. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Today, in service to our duty to the Constitution and to our country, the House Committee on the Judiciary is introducing 2 articles of impeachment charging the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, with committing high crimes and misdemeanors. The framers of the Constitution prescribed a clear remedy for presidents who so violate their oath of office. That is the power of impeachment.
And like that, it is getting closer. Now, today was the announcement. 2 articles. How many? 2. What are they? First, abuse of power. Okay, we'll go with that one. All right. And then the other one, kids, is obstruction of Congress, which I'm going to explain to you why is completely stupid.
The first article is for abuse of power. President Trump engaged in unprecedented, categorical, and indiscriminate defiance of the impeachment inquiry. This gives rise to the second article of impeachment for obstruction of Congress. Here, too, we see a familiar pattern in President Trump's misconduct. A president who declares himself above accountability, above the American people, and above Congress's power of impeachment.
All right, first, I would have gone with anything but obstruction of Congress, because the word Congress is not a win, right? It's not. Matt Getz yesterday said, do you know that Muammar Gaddafi had a higher rating and favorable rating in America than Congress? Right? So I would have looked for something else. But what they did do is they decided, instead of going wide and shallow, they were going to stay narrow and deep, and they were going to go with these two things. Okay, so these two things are what they're going to go with. So what happens now is once everything is sorted out and drawn up, and you get everything, all the legalese put in the right way, it'll be presented, and then they will debate it. There'll be rabble-rousing, rabble-rouse, and everybody will debate it, and then they'll have a vote. But already, a smaller group of Democrats are starting to say, yeah, you know what? Let's look at maybe something else. How about, and now we're up to what, like 5 who are saying, how about it's censure, right? How about we do that? How about the censure thing that we do, right? How about that? So you've got Colin Peterson of Minnesota and Jeff Van Drew, who both sit in places where, and again, I always hear this from the people on the left. They go, well, man, this just shows you how screwed the Republicans are and how stupid they are because they're not willing to vote what the right thing is. Well, you've got several Democrats that are worried and who may not vote the way that everybody says the Republicans should vote because they're worried about what? Their base. Because in the areas where they're voted in, it is heavily Republican, and they're worried that this may cost them. Well, if it's about doing the right thing, why aren't they doing it? Because everybody's worried about keeping their jobs, right? That's what they're worried about, the power and the jobs. So you've got 2, Jeff Van Drew and Colin Peterson, one of Minnesota, Jeff Van Drew of New Jersey, right? You've got 4 other moderate Democrats who are leading the way, but there's another 6 that may be on board that are Democrats in Trump-won districts, including John Gothenmeyer of New Jersey, Kurt Schrader of Oregon, Anthony Brindisi of New York, and Ben McAdams of Utah, who are all looking around saying, well, hold on a second. And the reason is because they're worried about their jobs. At the end of the day, this just shows you how political this game is. And that's what this is. It's politics. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong at this point in time. It matters if it's politics. I was talking to somebody today. Said, look at all the stuff that Trump's done. I said, what do you think? Presidents haven't done stuff in the past that rises to something where you can go, And they're like, well, not like this. I said, I'm sure if we look deep enough everywhere, you can find some stuff where people, in particular in the administration across the board, have done some stuff where you could go, if you want to try to hold them accountable, you might be able to do it. But our tribalism of politics now have pushed everybody that it's all or nothing when it comes to stuff like this. And some, they decide, why is it 70? It's 55. People are going 70. There's 20 of you, but the cop picks one of you out. Well, that's, there you go. They've decided to do this. Politically, not a fan of Trump. You get it. I get it. We all get it. People say, do you care? I said, no, honestly, I don't at this point in time, because I think more stuff's going to come out on both sides that I think has a potential of embarrassing both sides. And they've talked about it long enough. It's time to get on with this. It's fish or cut bait time. They decided they were going to fish. This is where we are. So let's see what happens.
The evidence is every bit as strong that President Trump has obstructed Congress fully, without precedent, and without basis in law. If allowed to stand, it would decimate Congress's ability to conduct oversight of this president or any other in the future, leaving this president and those who follow to be free to be as corrupt, malfeasant, or incompetent as they would like, with no prospect of discovery or accountability.
Nope. None. Zero. Zilch. First of all, Congress, you guys years ago started to give away your powers to the president long before Trump got there. So let's settle down. Now, just get on with it. Get it to Mitch. Probably have a vote early next week. Then you've got the Democratic debate next Thursday night, and we'll see how that plays itself out. From there, you've got probably a continuing resolution either that day or on Friday the 20th, and then they go on their little recess, and away they go. And then I would say early to mid-January, they'll start picking this thing up, laying it out, and then by, I would say, mid-January to end January, we should be in full, whether or not we remove him mode. And you're going to have the jury is the Senate. You'll have Chief Justice Roberts will be the judge, but the jury that will decide will be the Senate. With all of this going on, they decided to do something else.
President Trump declared victory on the trade deal with Canada and Mexico just moments before House Speaker Nancy Pelosi came out to announce in a press conference that Democrats were on board with a modified NAFTA. The president writing on Twitter, quote, "Great USMCA trade bill is looking good." Administration officials tell ABC the president's top trade rep, Robert Lighthizer, and his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, traveled to Mexico today in anticipation of the potential finalization of the trade agreement, a top priority for President Trump.
Yeah, so they got some stuff done, changed a little bit here and there, but the reality is I think in the timing of this, because they came out and they announced this, the impeachment and what the articles are going to be, and then within an hour, Nancy Pelosi came back out and everybody said, look, this is what we're doing here, and they wanted to get this done to show, I think, everybody, look, we're doing more than just, trying to impeach him. It's not just about that, no matter what they say. Yeah, you've tried to do some stuff, and there are people there that are doing other things. But as far as what is sucking the air out of the room, it is strictly impeachment. So is this a win for the president? Look, is it better for us? I don't care if it's a win for the president or for the Democrats. Is it better for America? Is it a win for America? That should be the thing that matters. Right? Everybody's touting it's a win for us. It's a win. No, is it a win for us? I don't care about whether or not you win, because your wins are political points for you. I care about, does America win?
In terms of our work here, it is infinitely better than what was initially proposed by the administration.
Of course it was. And you're the one who made that the way it is initially, but it is the one that we did way better. It's all about who got the win, right? What was Reagan's famous line? We can get so much done if nobody cares who gets the credit. And that's so. This is so much better because we've done something. When the other side's, no, it's better because we even brought this thing up and you guys weren't going to deal with it. You're going to let NAFTA be. Oh, God, it's all about pat yourself on the back. Again, the victory should be for the people in America, not you. Okay? Not you. It's an old saying in Europe. We used to say it all the time, and you hear it all the time in sports here, right? Play for the name on front of your jersey, not the name on the back, because you used to have the emblem on your jersey. And too often people now are playing for the name on the back, which is their name, and not the club. And that's the way I feel with these yahoos. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Love hearing from all of you. Hey, Producer Phil, so I changed something up today. I want you to get on board with this, because have you set up your tree yet?
No, but I'll tell you it's that on the break.
All right, cool. So, which will be hilarious. So I've decided that it should no longer be ornaments. It needs to be tree bling. What do you think?
I like it. I'm on board.
Yeah, there we go. Little tree bling. Yeah, my tree is my house looks like, and I'll tweet something out and I'll post something. My house looks like it's Christmas threw up everywhere, and I'm still not finished because it's just fun. But I got a lot of tree bling. There is a ton of tree bling on the tree. You need some of that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Car Shield will shield you from the expense of repairs. What? See the way I did that? That was hilarious, but it's true. Here's what you get with the Car Shield. A company that's willing to work for you. 1 million customers. That's what they've helped. And they don't know what you want. You don't even know what you want. So you need to call them and say, hey, you know what? It's Chad Character told me to call you because you're going to help me with my cover repairs. And they'll say, okay, well, what do you guys want? And you'll say, well, you know what? I got a car that's kind of newer, but I don't have a warranty. And I want cover repairs, especially for my electronics. They got that. Whether it's your drivetrain, whatever it is, right? They've got it for you. But you got to tell them what it is that you're specifically looking for. And what you get then is 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free while your car's in the shop, and the shop is the shop that you choose. You pay a small deductible. They pay them directly. That's it. It's that simple. Whether your car has 5,000 or 150,000 miles on it, they're ready to help you. Check them out for yourself. Call 800-CAR-6000, 800-CAR-6000. Use my code Benson. That saves you 10%. Or go to carshield.com. That's carshield.com. Use code Benson. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
You go, boy.
This isn't about right or left. This is just about right and wrong.
Right you are, Chad. The Chad Benson Show.
Father and daughter Jeff and Liliani Hopkins were in their tour boat when the volcano erupted, and they turned that boat around to begin the rescue.
We just started to treat people, the best we could, but everybody was horrifically burnt.
We had 23 on the boat that we had, and 5 of those are now deceased.
Rescue helicopters combing the island, lifting some of the injured back to shore for treatment. But so far, first responders have not been able to return.
Yeah, it is still a nightmare over there. And then the question that we touched on a little bit yesterday. So you take some of these excursions, you go, it doesn't matter. I was telling the guys, I was on a boat in Alaska in one of those big cruises, and it wasn't their fault, but they tell you, okay, hey, you're coming to wherever, right? You want to go to the glacier? You can fly to the glacier. So you can actually fly and land on a glacier. And we had people that on our boat, they didn't come back. There was a crash. And it's you just don't know. And you go to this thing, but you kind of recognize that some of these things you're going to do, right? Like, hey, guess what? I know this. You can come out here and you go diving with great white sharks. Well, how reputable are the people, right, that you're going to be working with? And there's questions about this situation on White Island in New Zealand with the safety of people going out to this volcano.
One of the key questions being asked is why were people allowed on the island after the alert level had been raised earlier in the month because of increased volcanic activity? And one paramedic who flew to the island described what he saw as being like a scene out of the Chernobyl miniseries. Ash covering every inch of the ground. It was a horrific scene in a place that for decades has been a worldwide attraction.
Yeah, but they did last month on the 18th raise the threat level. So it goes from 0, which is there's no threat at all, to between 1 and 5. They raised this from between a 1 and a 2 because there had been some issues and they were picking up some stuff, and why people were allowed to go there. The minute it gets to a 1, you should be like, you can't go. Sorry, it's off limits now. It's off limits. And there's still people missing, and obviously I don't think they have big hope that any of them are going to be found. Just because, everybody you've seen and talked to and every person who's come out and give a statement said that they don't see any life there whatsoever. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Here's some good news.
Bill Cosby sought to overturn his sex assault conviction, arguing the judge abused his discretion in allowing 5 women whose accusations were not part of the criminal charges to testify. Each of the women said Cosby did to them what he was convicted of doing to Andrea Constant, drugged and then sexually assaulted them. The Superior Court said the testimony was permitted because it showed a pattern of behavior, what the decision called Cosby's unique sexual assault playbook.
Yeah, so good news this Christmas holiday is he'll be in jail because he's just, 2-3 weeks ago he gave that interview and he was just saying he's got no remorse, right? He didn't think he's done anything wrong. He doesn't think he's done anything wrong whatsoever. He thinks he's been completely framed and this is a racial thing and all of that stuff. No, you're just a bad human being. Race has nothing to do with it, right? Race has zero to do with it, and everything to do with this is you're a bad person. And what you did was wrong, and you did it for decades. And anybody who came after you because you had more money than they did, and because you were super famous, you did what so many other men have done, which is you crushed them. Even before the catch and kill thing, you did that. So, good riddance to bad rubbish. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. You can tweet at me. Love hearing from all of you. Yes, it is one of those days that is, well, it's interesting to say the least because, impeachment it's on its way.
A Democrat constitutional scholar that did not vote for President Trump say this was the weakest, the thinnest, the fastest impeachment in the history of America.
And it was fast. I was talking about that today, how fast it was. A couple other people and I were talking, and it was just how quick this was. I mean, you go back and look how long Watergate took, and even how long the Mueller report before it came out, how long that took to put together from when it started to bubble up to when they started to say, okay, we're going to have a special counsel to when everything was done and they rolled everything out. Look how long that took. And this started basically, July, August, and here we are. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
This is not a day that America will be proud about. It's not a day that history will write that anybody wants to repeat. Alexander Hamilton warned us that this day would come, that a majority would use their political power just for politics, even though we all raise our hands to uphold the Constitution. I just hope no Congress, regardless who's in the majority, will ever take us down this path again. We have such great potential in this nation, but to have wasted a majority on this is an embarrassment to this Congress.
Kevin McCarthy right there, who's no relation to Paul McCarthy, and he's talking about today the Articles of Impeachment, rolls it out, so now everybody can, we're getting closer. And it's so funny because when I tell people he's going to be impeached, so many people have no idea how this whole thing works out. They think once he's impeached, he's removed. Impeached is not removed. Essentially, they're a grand jury going to indict, and then there's going to be a trial. But the difference is it's the political nature, and you know who the jurors are. So, and you kind of know what the outcome is. So it's kind of weird. It's a very weird thing. It's like, normally you're like, the jury needs to be sequestered and nobody's supposed to know it. No, they know everything. Everybody knows everybody, and they all know everything. And so here we go. Does it mean that he's going anywhere? No. But when you tell people that he's going to be impeached, it's so funny because I get attacked like you just don't even understand. You're a never Trumper, and people start going off, and I'm just like, you can't. Sometimes people are so caught up that they can't hear even through their own political world what you're trying to explain to them. Is it just so like, oh my God, he's going to be impeached, so he's being removed. You're a never Trumper. I'm like, no, it's not the way it works. But okay, I can't. Okay, sorry. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Do love hearing from you. So with all that going on, so we have all of that stuff, right? You got all the craziness and the lunacy. Then yesterday, you had the IG report in the Department of Justice of what took place when it came to Trump and, his campaign and them spying or listening or investigating or whatever you want to call it. One person's investigation is another person's spying.
Did you anticipate this AG coming out and raining on his own agency's parade?
No, I didn't. The conclusions are quite clear that the president's statements over these past several years were all wrong, that there was no hoax, there was no conspiracy to overthrow anybody, there was no sedition, there was no treason, there's no evidence of any of that. And quite bluntly, I think the president should apologize to us.
Yeah, well, he's not going to apologize. Look, there was some stuff in there that Trump totally overviewed, and this is really what it is. All right, they believe they had something, and something was going on. Right, that was their belief. So they go in there, and once you're in there and you think you're investigating, if information and certain things happen to get back to other people, well, then so be it. We didn't go in there spying, but now that we're here, kind of thing is probably the reality of it, right? But there were some issues, and that's the other thing. Well, they're all walking around gloating, talking about how amazing this is.
It was all made up. 2 years of sitting silently at the FBI while you're lied about, and finally the truth is out. It was lies. There was no treason. There was no conspiracy. There was no tapping of Trump's wires. There was no putting informants in the campaign. It was all nonsense. And the FBI finally has its day with the American people, and I hope they pay attention to it.
Well, first and foremost, you guys did do some stuff that is... Absolutely, there's some issues there. And again, I go back to the FISA thing. Take off your Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal, and the spying thing, right? Edward Snowden exposed a lot of stuff that was going on, but some of this stuff just shows you that they can get to anybody. And imagine what they can do to just an average, run-of-the-mill, normal human being. And in a special, like, super sneaky, hey, we're going to go in this broom closet and come out with all kinds of things that we can do to you that you're just not going to have any chance to ever know about or present your side of something.
The 17 instances of misconduct cited in the report, they are pretty damning. The FISA court was clearly taken for a ride by the FBI on this. This was not a failure at some low level of the FBI where a few things were, not properly done and so forth. This was up and down the chain of command. And it's about as strong medicine as I've seen in a report of this kind in a very long time. The FBI has had some dark days in its past, and whether there was political bias or not aside, this was very serious misconduct on the part of the FBI.
Yeah, there was definitely some issues here. So, look, both sides, what did they get? They both got what they wanted. Right? They can all stand up and say, ha ha, look at that. You know what? Look what you guys did. Ha 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 ha.
They got caught. They got caught red-handed. It's an incredible thing that happened, and we're lucky we caught them. I think I'm going to put this down as one of our great achievements because what we found and what we saw, never, ever should this happen again in our country.
Yeah, so, he can say that, and then the other people can say.
I respectfully asked him I would ask him to apologize to me, to my colleagues, because the things he said are just wrong. And I think he should step up and do that at a minimum.
Yeah, well, he's not going to do it, right? And first of all, here's something he never does, right? And that's part of who he is, how he was raised, and some of his mentors have all said you never apologize, right? And the way you apologize is by doing other things. Like every one of us is like, you've had a dad or a mom who's done something, they've crossed the line, they know it's too much, but rather than say, I'm sorry for that, hey, you know what? You want to go see a movie? You want me to do your favorite thing? You want me to go? They do something like, that's kind of the way that Trump was. Never say you're sorry for something you did. So he's not going to apologize. And as far as he's concerned, you guys were in the wrong. That's the way he looks at it. And the other side both sides, what they want to do is they want to ignore the wrongdoings of the other side. Let's just talk about all the good stuff that we did. Oh, you guys are still worried about that? No. Let's talk about all our good stuff. Oh, you're still worried about that? No. Both sides, guess what? You got what you wanted out of this. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. I do love hearing from you. This is something that we should pay attention to more and more. Service animals, especially this time of year, with lots of people traveling.
David Keller and his family don't keep bees, but he's still getting quite the buzz.
A lot of people thought it was hilarious, and a lot of people were getting upset.
Last month, he saw a service dog that he thought wasn't acting right.
I could very easily tell that it was not a service animal because it was pulling the owner to the parking lot.
So he decided to take a stand.
I was thinking that it's just too easy to get these animals to be service animals.
Yeah. Now, I want to point this out, because my family is a service animal for little Spency and stuff. And then there's service dogs and there's emotional support animals. Totally different. Right? Some there to offer emotional support. It's something that's calming if you're anxiety, whatever this. Others are there because they can sense when you have a seizure. They're there for medical purposes, and they work that way. But it is too easy. So this guy's like, screw it, I'm going to do something fun.
And he went to a website called USAServiceDogRegistration.com, successfully registering a picture of a beehive as a service animal.
To bring awareness to the issue that anyone can do this.
Turns out there's a whole lot of service animal registration websites out there. And with little way to verify a real service animal from a fake one, you might ask, what's the point?
Exactly. What is the point? Well, I mean, everybody wants to have, they want to get that little thing. So because you can't ask the question, is that really a service dog, right? Because the laws and stuff, you can't say that dog is not a service dog. It shouldn't be in here. So a guy registered his piece that he doesn't have.
And down.
According to a person who trains real service animals,
They're very silly. They don't mean anything. You can go pay for a registry on one of those websites, and basically you're just paying for a piece of paper and to put your name on a list.
Though these sites do highlight a real problem: people passing pets as service animals.
Training is how you tell if it's a service animal or not.
Yeah, training. And service animal, emotional support, different, right? Because, I've seen, because all the years I coached soccer and stuff from special needs for my little brother, a lot of them had their service animals, and they were there, especially when it comes to seizures and certain things like that. Those dogs, they're not friendly. I mean, they're friendly to them and stuff, but they're there for a specific reason. And it was a couple with people who were brittle diabetics, and they had dogs that could tell when somebody was, starting to have a reaction in situations like this, and low blood sugar and all of that stuff. The other one between petting and cuddling and, the craziness that we've seen. And, that's why I've always said, when it comes to airlines, just have your own. Do you need an emotional support animal? Yes. I don't like to fly, and I would like to have an animal. All right, cool. We have a choice. You have a bunny, you have a dog, you have a cat, whatever it is. They fly all the time. They got tons of frequent flyer miles, and you could sit there with them, and it'll take your mind off stuff. That's great, right? That way we don't have to go through the insanity of it all.
There are a few rules. Federal law says only dogs and miniature horses may be used as a service animal, so no bees.
The law is pretty clear that a service animal is an animal that is trained to perform a specific task related to the disability.
And as it turns out, the animal doesn't actually need to be registered anywhere. And Keller hopes he's proven his point.
It's making people believe that all animals are service animals when they're not, and there's a clear difference.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah, there is a clear difference. It really is. But most people understand that, and a lot of people use it because they just want to take their dog into, Home Depot or wherever they want to take their dog into, to feel that way. But there are people out there that need it. Case in point, I work with Wounded Paw Project, right? They actually take dogs who are shelter dogs, turn them into service dogs, and that takes a while. And not all dogs are, we've talked to them before, and to just see what they do, not all dogs are created equal. Some dogs are there for emotional support, and some are there because when they train them up, they realize that this dog is going to be able to help people, especially our veterans, right? Like this time of year, veterans are looking around. They're struggling with PTSD. They're struggling with injuries and all kinds of things. Some things we can see and some things we can't. And it's a tough time of year, the holiday season, for a lot of them. And that's why it's so important when it comes to service dogs and what they can do. The emotional support, but in many cases, other things, especially for some who struggle with, potentially the loss of a limb or something like that. It's amazing what they do. And I tell you guys, go check them out because they're real. They're not like going to a website. No, they train their own. This is what they do. And it is amazing. Wounded Paw Project is incredible. Their motto is to save a paw is to save a life, because on top of them helping first responders, veterans, and their families, it also helps the animal because they recognize the need out there. And to take these dogs who are identified inside of shelters as being dogs with potential and taking them from shelter dogs to service dogs is amazing. You can donate today. Proceeds are used to protect, advocate, and transform shelter dogs into service dogs for veterans, first responders, and their family. Take action. Get a great tax-deductible gift. Turn your extra car, truck, RV, even a boat to a vehicle for change. And again, tax-deductible this time of year. Might be looking to save a few bucks, from the old tax man there. You're going to be saving a paw to save a life. They also take cash. Go to woundedpawproject.org, woundedpawproject.org, or call 844-678-4PAW, 844-678-4729. Chad Benson Show.
Experiencing separation anxiety? That's dumb. Check out Chad 24/7 at his website, ChadBensonShow.com, and on iTunes, free. The Chad Benson Show. Never feel lonely again.
It's a massive hit. Sing it, Marie. Roxette, lead singer Marie Fredrickson, passed away today. 61. She battled cancer for years. Started with a brain tumor in 2002, and she worked for a long while and continued to battle it and continued. And then they went on tour in 2008 all the way through 2016. But they had a ton of hits during it's like one of those things where there was a certain period of time between like 86 and about like 92 where they were on fire, right? I mean, big time. And they had a bunch of hits. You're like, oh, yeah, I remember that song. And She's Got the Look. Remember that one? Right? And Listen to Your Heart. So she passed away at age 61 today. But there was a lot of, like, when you go and look at how long she battled this, and she got faint one day at home. And 2002, next thing you know, she's got a brain tumor. And for 17 years, she battled this. And all the while, she toured and did stuff. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. So the Patriots, who've been known in the past to have some issues with the way that they scout other teams, got caught again in a situation where they were filming their next opponent, and they've got an excuse or a reason.
Patriots have an in-house feature that they do on an employee on a constant basis. In this particular case, they were doing a feature on an advanced scout at the Bengals-Browns game yesterday. The feature is called Do Your Job, and this advanced scout was credentialed by the Browns, as was the film crew by the Browns, and they were filming this advanced scout for this feature when a Bengals employee saw the Patriots filming something, alerted the NFL. The NFL confiscated the video, and the NFL now has the video. And the Patriots are adamant that they weren't doing anything with the sidelines, that this was nothing more than a feature on the advanced scout. Of course, look, the league's got the video, and the league will make the determination. But the Patriots insisted they weren't doing anything wrong or anything illegal here.
Now, do you believe that? Well, the Patriots have been in trouble for they lost a first-round draft pick. For once again, they were videoing the Jets back in the day, and now the Patriots are videoing the worst team in football, the Bengals. Apparently, there's 8 minutes of tape. I don't know what's in there. They handed everything over, the crew, and Bill Belichick's like, look, this is something they do in-house. They hire them outside of there. I don't know anything about it, but people aren't going to believe that because of past performance. So they feel like you've done something wrong. And now they get around and say, I didn't do anything. It's the Bengals, for God's sakes. Nobody, the Patriots and it's the Bengals. The fans don't even want the Bengals. They don't want this film. So we'll see. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. I was reading USA Today. They're like, well, they need to drop the hammer on. I'm like, what are you going to drop the hammer on? What are you going to do? Are you going to do a Russia? You guys can't participate next year. By the way, Russia's ban in sports includes, they just hosted the last World Cup. They're not playing in the next World Cup, right? Not even under a different flag. Like, they're banned. Like, this ban is just about everything you can think of, including other events like the World Hockey Championships and stuff like that. Big impeachment day. Good times. Who's excited?
It is not hard to defend this president, surely on the facts of what's out there. I think it's hard for the Democrats to move forward when they start with a quid pro quo to bribery to every other element they go.
Yep. This is what you wanted for Christmas, right? Because that's all we got you. I'm sorry. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show.